When Nazi Germany launched Operation Barbarossa on June 22, 1941, the Soviet Union faced staggering losses and rapid territorial collapse. The early months of the invasion were marked by chaos, massive casualties and strategic setbacks. Yet, despite these dire circumstances, the USSR managed an extraordinary recovery that turned the tide of the war. This article explores how the Soviet Union overcame its initial defeats through strategic adaptation, industrial mobilization, leadership, and the resilience of its people. 1. Leadership under pressure, Stalin's role. At first, Soviet leader Joseph Stalin was caught off guard, initially refusing to believe intelligence warnings about the German invasion. However, once the reality was undeniable, Stalin took decisive control. He centralized command and personally oversaw military and political responses. Stalin's speeches rallied the population, emphasizing sacrifice and unity. He also replaced ineffective commanders with more competent leaders, helping to improve military performance. 2. Strategic military adaptation. The Red Army initially suffered from poor preparedness and outdated tactics. But it quickly adapted. Flexible defense and strategic retreats. Rather than futilely resisting at every point, Soviet forces conducted orderly withdrawals to shorten their front lines and regroup. Deep battle doctrine. Soviet military doctrine evolved to emphasize combined arms operations, using infantry, armor, artillery, and air power in coordinated offensives. Counteroffensives. Even early in the war, localized Soviet counterattacks blunted German advances and inflicted casualties, setting the stage for larger-scale operations. 3. Industrial mobilization and relocation. One of the Soviet Union's most impressive feats was its rapid industrial recovery. Evacuation of industry. As German forces advanced, the USSR relocated entire factories east of the Ural Mountains, beyond the reach of German bombers. This massive logistical effort saved critical war production. Mass production. Soviet industry shifted to producing vast quantities of tanks, notably the T-34, aircraft, artillery, and ammunition, often surpassing German output. Women and workers. With millions of men at the front, women and workers in the rear took on vital roles in factories, ensuring continuous production. 4. Mobilizing the population. The Soviet government mobilized its vast population for total war. Mass conscription. Millions of new soldiers were drafted, expanding the Red Army to unprecedented size. Partisan warfare. Behind German lines, partisan groups disrupted supply lines, gathered intelligence, and tied down enemy forces. Civilian morale. Propaganda and cultural campaigns fostered a spirit of patriotism and endurance among civilians enduring hardship. 5. International support. The Soviet Union also benefited from the Lend-Lease program provided by the Allies, particularly the United States and the United Kingdom. Supplies of trucks, food, raw materials, and equipment helped sustain Soviet forces, especially in the early years. 6. Key turning points. Battle of Moscow, winter 1941-42. Soviet forces halted the German advance on Moscow, delivering the first major defeat to the Wehrmacht. Battle of Stalingrad, 1942-43. One of the bloodiest battles in history, this Soviet victory decisively turned the momentum on the Eastern Front. Battle of Kursk, 1943. The largest tank battle ever fought ended in a Soviet victory, cementing their strategic initiative.